Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you all had an amazing week. It has been a week in Steelhead land. Lots of games, lots of moves, lots of goals, all that fun stuff. My name is Jordan Davidson, and this is another edition of Behind the Bench. If at any point this season the Mississauga Steelheads go down 3 goals in a game and come back and win that game, I will do the one chip challenge on a future episode of Behind the Bench. Follow along with these hashtags. Once they go down 3 goals, it is a one chip watch. Then, if following a one-chip watch, they either take the lead in regulation or get the game to overtime, it is a one-chip warning. And then once the game is officially won, it becomes a one-chip event. Once we hit a one-chip event, you guys get to see me cry, suffer, all that fun stuff. The Steelheads played 3 games last week. Team Canada played 3 games last week. So let's go in order with quarterfinal day at the World Juniors. Here we go. So let's start with our buddy Alessio Bellieri and his team Switzerland's quarterfinal against Czechia. I'm going to go through this quick. Wasn't a pretty game for Switzerland. Kevin Posch was the starting goalie. He gave up 4 goals on 7 shots. So they pulled him, put Alessio in. He wasn't much better. He gave up 5 goals on 12 shots. Czechia was a tough team, man. So ended up being a 9-1 win for Czechia. Switzerland was eliminated. I remember watching that game thinking, man, Alessio probably can't wait to get an OHL defense in front of him again, because, Czechia was just a great team, and Switzerland, as a team, was just no match for him. Team Canada, meanwhile, had their quarterfinal against the other half of the former Czechoslovakia, namely Team Slovakia. I remember going to a Canada-Slovakia game when the World Juniors were in Toronto a few years ago, and Canada won that game 5-0, and the shots were something like 44-6, something like that, so, it has been one-sided in their history, but Slovakia did put up quite a bit of a fight in this one. So got to hand it to them. Connor Bedard scored the first Canadian goal. Dylan Guenther scored the second one. Zach Ostapchuk made it a 3-1 game. But then Slovakia bounced back, and in the third period they tied it. Ended up going to overtime. And of course we all saw that Connor Bedard overtime goal, which put Canada in the semifinals against the United States. It was a nail-biter, more of a nail-biter than a lot of us expected, but Canada got the job done and moved on. So the World Juniors were off on January 3rd, the Tuesday, but the Mississauga Steelheads were not. They made their first road trip of 2023 to Oshawa to take on the Generals. Here is my pregame from Oshawa. All right, y'all. It's 2023. 1 year ends, another year begins. We're at our first destination of 2023. We're in Oshawa. This is the Tribute Community Center, home of the Oshawa Generals. Let's walk around. They love their history here in Oshawa. The franchise actually predates the OHL as we know it today. 1939, that's crazy. They've won a Memorial Cup as recently as 2015, but they're kind of down in the dumps lately. They just fallen out of a playoff spot last time I saw, so see if we can take advantage of these guys. Look who made it as always. All right, let's start 2023 very differently than the way we ended 2022. Let's get a win tonight. Oh, hi, John Tavares. How you doing? Go Leafs, go. Yeah, I hate this blue light they have in here, but that's Hardy, trust me. There he is. The Arby's blimp. They're big on Arby's here. Despite being eliminated from the World Juniors the night before, Alessio Bellieri was not with the team in time to dress for this game. Ryerson Leanders would get the start, with Chaz Nixon as the backup. The starting goalie for Oshawa would be Carter Bickle. The puck dropped, and we got underway in Oshawa. It would only take 1:56 for Oshawa to get on the board. It was Dylan Rubrick who would beat Ryerson Leanders on this one, give the assist to Ryder McIntyre and Luca Morelli, and just less than 2 minutes into the game, it was 1-0 for the Generals. 9:23 into the first period now, and it would be the same guy coming in close and sniping it behind Ryerson Leanders again. Dylan Rubrick, with his second of the game, would make it 2-0 Oshawa, give the assist this time to Ryder McIntyre again, and Luke Torrance would get the second one this time. 2-0 Oshawa. Not a lot of penalties in this one, just one in the first period. Dylan Gordon would take a tripping call at 12:16. Unfortunately, Oshawa would capitalize on that with Ryan Gagne scoring the power play goal, give the assist to Callum Ritchie and Luca D'Amato. It'd be 3-0 Oshawa, and we would be on a one-chip watch. Oshawa fans were pretty happy about that. I remember one fan behind me yelling at Chaz Nixon saying, "You're going in, Mr. President," even though he wasn't. You know, the play on his name, you know. Mississauga would get one before the end of the period. Parker von Richter with an absolute point shot snipe beats Carter Bickle, getting the Steelheads on the board, give the assist to Dylan Gordon and McGregor Richmond. That was at the 17:35 mark. It'd be 3-1 Oshawa, and that is how it would stand after one. The shots were 10-7 Oshawa in the first period. So second period now, we're 4 minutes and 2 seconds in, and an absolute snipe from James Hardy makes Carter Bickle look silly. Give the assist on this one to Luca Del Belbaluz. And we are within one after the Steelheads were down by 3. My one-chip senses start tingling a bit. It is 3-2. 8:59 now. That Hardy Del Belbaluz connection was looking very good. Little did we know. But it would connect again. This time Luca getting the goal. Give the assist on this one to James Hardy and Xander Vecchio with the second assist. And we had a tie game after we were down 3-0. And this time, my one-chip senses were really tingling. 3-3. And at 14:32, just about 5.5 minutes later, the exact same connection would strike again. Luca Del Belbaluz getting his second goal of the game. James Hardy getting the primary assist again. Xander Vecchio getting the secondary assist again. Just the same as the last goal. This one giving the Steelheads the lead. And for the first time this season, we officially had a one-chip warning. 4-3 Steelheads. Oshawa, by the way, would pull Carter Bickle out of the net after that goal and replace him with Patrick Lever. For some reason, Patrick Lever would finish the second, but for the third, Carter Bickle would go back in. So I don't know if it was an injury or an equipment issue. So it was kind of weird that they just put him in for the second period and then bring the same goalie back for the third. But that is what happened. 4-3 was your score after 2 periods. So we were down 3 in the first. In the second period, we've taken the lead. Our first one-chip warning. I'm a little nervous right now, but we'll see how the rest of this game plays out. You might get to see what you've been waiting for all year, guys. So 4-3 Steelheads going into the third period. All they had to do was hang on to that lead to make me do the one-chip challenge and also win the game or something, because, you know, priorities. Luca Del Belbaluz was on Hattie watch with his 2 goals. Unfortunately, for much of the third period, he'd be out of commission, as at the 3:16 mark, he would take a high stick from Cameron Butler, and he would have to go off for stitches. Cameron Butler got a double minor for his trouble. That was the only penalty Oshawa would take the entire game, but they would kill it off. So it would still be 4-3 into the final minute of the game. Oshawa pulling the goalie, and big rush at the other end, and it was finally Stuart Roloffs with 46 seconds left in regulation who would tie the game. Callum Ritchie and Luca Morelli with the assists would temporarily shift it back to a one-chip watch. But 46 seconds later, when we head to overtime, we were back to a one-chip warning. Steelheads get the single point. Would they get the second one? So the game got to overtime, and if the Steelheads did get the overtime winner, that would mean I am doing the one-chip challenge. Unfortunately for the Steelheads, but maybe fortunately for my tongue, Oshawa would get the winning goal at 2:38. Joseph Serpa would beat Ryerson Leader's assist on that one to Ben Danford. And the Steelheads would get the single point for getting the game to overtime, but it would be a 5-4 Oshawa Generals final. The first official one-chip warning and a single point for the Steelheads' troubles. Here are the 3 stars and my post-game from Oshawa.
That was a 93 star, the 3rd star from tonight's game from the Mississauga Steelheads, number 14, James Hardy. 82nd star for tonight's game, number 25, Dylan Gordon. Tonight's game from the Mississauga Steelheads, number 73, Luca Del Belbaluz.
Let's go get Luke in the first star. That's good.
That's great. Hey man, we'll keep you. Great to see you. You're a great player.
I'll be your family today. How you doing? Hey.
See ya.
That was a fun game, not the way we wanted it to end, but we got our first one-chip warnings. Hopefully later in the season we'll get another chance to actually get the one-chip event going. Got a lot of home games coming up every Friday and every Sunday in January, actually. The Steelheads have a home game, so got a lot of that coming up. So good to get a road game in while I can. Going back home now. see you in Mississauga on Friday. So the Steelheads would look to the weekend for their next games, but in the meantime, Team Canada had a couple of big games coming up. Let's get through those quickly and wrap the World Junior story up. The United States, in their semifinal, would get the first 2 goals of the game. Connor Bedard would make it 2-1 by the end of the first period. Ethan Del Mastro would assist on that goal. Canada would really explode in the second period. Goals by Logan Stankoven, Adam Fantilli, and Joshua Roy. Brant Clark would make it 5-2 in the third period. Owen Beck would get an assist on that goal. And the empty netter by Joshua Roy would make it 6-2. That would be your final, and Canada would meet Czechia in the gold medal game. So Thursday came, it was a big day for Canada. It was also the day that the Steelheads would acquire Adam Zidliczki from the Kitchener Rangers. So big day on both fronts. After a wild 8-7 victory for the United States in the bronze medal game, it was time for Canada to take on Czechia. Dylan Gunther would get the first goal in the first period. Shane Wright would get the second goal in the second period for Canada. It'd be 2-0 going into the third, but Czechia would tie it with a couple, and we would go to overtime once again. And of course, we saw the overtime winner by Dylan Gunther. Connor Bedard did not get a point in this game. It was actually the first time this season, not just this World Juniors, but this season, since the opening game for the Regina Pats, that Connor Bedard did not get a point. So he's been a monster this year. Congratulations to Canada, and that means Ethan Del Mastro and Owen Beck would return to Mississauga the very next day as gold medalists. A lot to show you, so here is the pregame from the Steelheads' home game against Barrie the night after Team Canada won gold. Friday night in Mississauga. It is the night after Canada won the gold medal at the World Juniors. Rumor has it Ethan Del Mastro and Owen Beck will be back in the building with their medals, so that's kind of fun. Barrie Colts are here tonight for the first time this season. We got a new player, Adam Zidliczki, and let's walk around. All the Canada geese are proud of Canada too. They came over to see the medals as well. Wonder how they're going to buy tickets though. Yeah, that's a mystery. You know, maybe if they could buy tickets, our attendance would be better. That's not the Barrie Colts bus. I mean, it is, but not the regular one. It does have Maple Leafs on it though, so maybe they'll lose like the Maple Leafs. All right, here we go. Mr. Bellieri is back. There's our new boy, Zidliczki. Sing it, Becker. Almost like it was yesterday. Oh wait, it was yesterday.
Mississauga Steelheads and Team Canada gold medalist Ethan Del Mastro and Owen Beck.
Yep. Yep. Looks good on you boys.
At this time of week, it's Captain McDonald, the captain of the Colts, and James Hardy of your Steelheads come to center ice for our ceremonial puck drop.
It's weird. Usually Ethan's taking this thing. In net for the Steelheads, Alessio Bellieri would get his first start since returning from Team Switzerland. For some unknown reason, maybe they just wanted to rest him because they've been asking a lot of him, but Ryerson Leanders was not dressed for this game. Chaz Nixon would be the backup goalie. Ben West would be the starting goalie in net for the Colts. As I mentioned, no Del Belbaluz, no Del Mastro in the lineup, no Beck in the lineup, and it would be the debut for Adam Zidliczki. The puck dropped, and we would get underway. 4:06 mark of the first period, we'd see our first penalty shot of the season, I believe, as Dylan Gordon would take Tyler Savard down on a breakaway towards Alessio Bellieri. So Savard was awarded the penalty shot. He would take it, but Bellieri would stop it, and it would remain scoreless at that point. Barrie would get the first goal of the game exactly 14 minutes into the first period. Artur Cholak would take the point shot. It would be tipped by Ty York. It was originally announced as an Artur Cholak goal, but upon review, I guess they saw that Ty York had tipped it, so it was his goal. Cholak would get the primary assist with Josh Kavanaugh getting the second one. And 14 minutes into the first period, it was 1-0 Colts. A little mini scrum in the corner at the 18:08 mark would result in a couple of penalties on both sides. Our old buddy Callum Chisholm would take a cross check with Lucas Carmiers taking a slash. They'd go at it for a little bit, but not much would come of it. They both go to the box. It'd be 4-on-4. While it was 4-on-4, again at the exact 19-minute mark of the first period, it'd be James Hardy centering a shot to Kasper Larsson, who would come in close and bury it home, scoring his second goal of the season. Assist, of course, to James Hardy, and Luke Misa would get the second one. It was 1-1. It would be 1-1 after a period. Barry's Connor Punnett going to the box for a slash at 6:43. Kasper Larsson would take advantage about a minute later at 7:46. He would notch his second again. James Hardy would get the primary assist. This time the secondary was Chaz Sharp. And the Steelheads would take a 2-1 lead on the power play. Larsson with his second of the game. Now with just 7 seconds left in the second period, Bryce Cook would take a goalie interference call that would extend into the third. While the Steelheads were still shorthanded at 1:11 into the third, Adam Zidlichki would steal the puck, get a breakaway, nobody would catch him, and he would bury it for his first as a Steelhead, shorthanded no less. Give the one assist on that one to Mason Zabeski, and you can make it 3-1 Steelheads. Steelheads had the momentum at this point, and they would not be stopped at the 12:02 mark of the third period. It was a center and a little dish to Xander Vecchia on the right wing, who would tap it in. Xander Vecchia with his 7th of the season give the assist to Luke Misa, and Parker Von Richter with the second assist. And you can make it 4-1 Steelheads. And if I was a Colts fan, that would be a one-chip watch. But I'm not. So the Steelheads with the momentum and the advantage at this point. But how about before this game ends, we get another one from Adam Zidlichki, this time at the 17:07 mark, a little east to west move to fool Ben West. He would bury his second of the game and second as a Steelhead, 7th of the season overall. Kai Schwint and Kasper Larsson would get the assists on that one. It would be 5-1 Steelheads, and 5-1 Steelheads would be your final. So a lot of excitement in the building. The gold medals are here. The new guy's in town. Our old goalie is back. Of course, there'd be more excitement in the building than any of us knew at that point, but more on that later. It was a big win. Here are the 3 stars and my post-game. Folks, this is our first win at home since November. The last time the Steelheads won at home, I had a mustache.
All right, fans, here tonight's great start of the game presented by Pro Hockey Life. Raise your head. The third star with a pair of assists, number 14, James
Hardy!
Second star with his first 2 goals in his first game with the Steelheads, number 91,
Attaboy, Adam! Kasper Larsson!
Now, great first moment to start the new year. What did you like most of your season performance?
They didn't want to wait. Oh. Gotta do the hug first. Not bad, congrats. See what? Perfect. Yeah. Oh, everybody wants this one. Yeah.
Do we have a photo? Well,
Yeah. What a day, B-Man. Happy to have you.
Someone just repeat.
Oh.
Hey, Casper, what's a result?
Got a shower on the ice. Happy to see that smiling face again. So a very exciting Friday night. It was shortly after I left on that Friday night, though, that the trade that would become official the next day would start. The rumors would start to float around about that. Ethan Del Mastro and Luca going to Sarnia, and Owen Beck going to Peterborough. We get Angus MacDonnell, Porter Martone from Sarnia, and Justin Dizzotti and Jack Van Volsen from Peterborough, as well as a bunch of picks. Also quietly, I believe that night, Jake Uberti was released or waived, and he would catch on with the Acadie Bathurst Teton of the Quebec League. Unfortunately, Joe Ranger in Sudbury was not as lucky. He would also be released. He'd be pushed out by an overage goalie they brought over from Drummondville of the Quebec League, named Kevin Broussard. So Joe Ranger, unfortunately, is out of a job in the OHL. He is going to the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League to play for the London Nationals, I believe. So best of luck to Joe. He's always been a big fan of this channel, big supporter of this channel. So wish Joe all the best. So needless to say, the Steelheads would look very different on Sunday for their game against the Sudbury Wolves. Here is my pregame from there. All right. Sunday now, and the first official game of the post-Ethan Del Mastro, Luca Del Babaluz, and Owen Beck era in Steelheads land. Sudbury Wolves are here tonight. The new guys should be here tonight. Looking forward to seeing them. And, the guys did look pretty good in the last game without the big three playing. So maybe with this added infusion, they'll surprise us. Looking forward to the game. Let's walk around. Wow, is that a new one? I like this design. It's got a nickel on it and everything. That's awesome. Captain Del Mastro, you'll be missed. Here's what the lines look like. Angus MacDonnell already centering the first line with Hardy and Vecchia on the wings. Misa centering the second line. Justin Dizzotti and older new guy Adam Zalishki are on the wings there. Third line is Kai Schwint, Jack Van Volsen, and Porter Martone. And a more familiar fourth line. 17 there is Angus MacDonnell, and that's Porter Martone. The former Sarnia teammates now checking things out here in Saga before their first game. Count the newbies. MacDonnell, Martone. Zalishki's an old newbie. Van Volsen. One more. And Dizzotti. Mississauga knows how to party. Mississauga gonna beat Sudbury. Well, I knew the Steelheads traded for young players, but wow. Just kidding, this is the Timbits game. Alessio Bagliari would start in net for the Steelheads for the second straight game. Ryerson Leaders backing him up. Chaz Nixon finally returned to the Junior Canadians. The aforementioned Kevin Broussard was in net for the Sudbury Wolves. And of course, Jack Van Volsen, Angus MacDonnell, Justin Dizzotti, and Porter Martone would make their Steelheads debuts. The puck dropped for our game against Sudbury, and we would get underway. The first period of this game was actually largely uneventful. The shots were 14-4 for the Steelheads, but Kevin Broussard was pretty much on in the first period, so not much was happening. You could see the hunger in the guys, wanting to make something happen, but not much did. Just the one penalty taken by Sudbury in the first period, Andre Anania, with an interference call at 18:55, but there would be no scoring in the first. It would still be scoreless at the 10:02 mark, with Casper Larson taking a delay game call for shooting the puck out, but the Steelheads would initially take advantage of this with Adam Zidliczki and Angus McDonnell on a shorthanded 2-on-1. Zidliczki bringing it up. He would dish it to McDonnell, who would tap it in front of the net for his first goal as a Steelhead. So both Zidliczki and McDonnell would get shorthanded goals for their first Steelheads goals. McDonnell scores his 13th of the season overall, Zidliczki with the assist. And on a shorty, it was 1-0 Steelheads. Despite this, the Steelheads were still shorthanded, and while they were announcing the McDonnell goal, Nick DeGrazia would tie it just a few seconds later at 11:52, taking advantage of the power play after all. So DeGrazia with the goal, the assist to Landon McCallum and Dylan Robinson, and it would be 1-1. The Steelheads would get the lead back by the end of the second period, though. It would be Parker Von Richter bringing it up, and he would dish to the right wing. Lucas Carmiras there to tap it in front of the net. Lucas Carmiras with his second goal of the season, Von Richter with the assist, and with exactly 4 minutes left in the second period, it would be 2-1. That is what the score would be after 2 periods. Third period is when the scoring would really start to take off, though, at the 1:42 mark, just after a failed scoring attempt by Kai Schwint that was pretty close. Jack Van Volsen would take a face-off in the Wolves zone to Kai Schwint at the left wing, who would dish to Charlie Callahan, who would fire a point shot. Callahan would get the goal. Again, the assist to Kai Schwint, and Jack Van Volsen, his first assist as a Steelhead, would make it 3-1. A little bit of a funny moment when Charlie Callahan took a roughing penalty just 18 seconds after he scored his goal. So they were actually announcing Charlie Callahan's goal as he was going into the box. So a little bit of a funny visual there, kind of a you had to be there thing. But we had a little bit of a laugh after that after the game. Nothing came of the penalty though. Not long after Callahan gets out of the box, at the 4:20 mark of the third period, it is an all-new guy goal as Angus McDonnell finds Porter Martone, finds Jack Van Volsen on the right wing, who buries it for his first goal as a Steelhead, 8 overall on the season. Again, the assist to Porter Martone and Angus McDonnell, all 3 guys making their debuts in this game. So a pretty special goal all around. It would be 4-1 Steelheads. The scoring would cool down for a little while, but at the 13:31 mark, it is Bryce Cook finding himself all alone in front of the net. Just him and Brassard. He is able to snap it. It goes through Brassard's legs and into the net. So Bryce Cook with the goal, give the assist on this one to Lucas Carmiras, and we've got ourselves a 5-1 game. Now Mason Zaveski would take a high sticking call at the 15:35 mark of the third, and with Sudbury pulling their goalie as well, they'd have a 6-on-4 in our zone. Not to worry, however, Dylan Gordon would find Justin Dezoti, who would fire it into the empty net. So Justin Dezoti scores for the first time as a Steelhead as well. First as a Steelhead, 6th overall. Dylan Gordon with the assist, and with the empty netter, we'd have a 6-2 game. In his frustration following the empty netter, David Goyette would actually shoot the puck out, and that is a big no-no when play is stopped. He would get a game misconduct for that, and possibly a suspension as well. I remember Owen Tippett getting a suspension for shooting a foam puck out after, one of the Chuckapucks threw it too early, and it was just a foam puck. So Tippett got a 1-game suspension for that. It's usually a 5 or something like that. So that was the Steelhead's second shorthanded goal of the game, by the way. And as you remember, after the first shorthanded goal, Sudbury was able to score on the power play after that. And they did the same thing here at the 16:53 mark. Landon McCallum would score to make it 6-2. Assist on that one to Ethan Larmond and Andre Anania. Long way to go for Sudbury, though. It would be 6-2. The game would be pretty well in hand at that point, but a very special goal would happen in the last minute of the game at the 19:22 mark, to be precise. Like so many Steelheads before him in this game, James Hardy would find himself all alone with Kevin Brassard, and he would snipe one past him to make it 7-2, would equal the all-time Steelheads goal record with 114 shared by Owen Tippett, and the all-time Steelheads point record of 207 shared with Michael McLeod. James Hardy is now tied for both of those, one more, and he is the all-time leader in both categories. So that is very special. It is a 7-2 game. It is a 7-2 final for the Steelheads, and another big 2 points. A big game for the new Steelheads as well as the old Steelheads, and 5 points this week after a dismal December. That is what we needed. Here are the 3 stars and the post-game from the game against the Wolves.
All right, fans, here are the 3 stars presented by Pro Hockey League. Raise your game. The 3rd star from the Steelheads, number 29, Alessio Bellieri.
There we go! Well deserved.
The 2nd star from the Steelheads with a goal of one assist in his first game in Mississauga, number 17, Angus McDonnell.
Hey! Jack know that we do this?
So what have the last 24 hours been like for you since the trade?
Where?
Woo! Well, I'm feeling wet since the trade.
Thanks so much.
I found that one out when they were talking about the Arctic. Something I gotta talk to Chef about. It's the bottom half.
I think the only jealous Mississauga. They search. They gotta be empty and they can't have it. What kind of personal?
It's pretty disappointed. I wish you best of luck. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not going out.
You're gonna go off the car. Wait.
See what I
Keep bears are cheesy enough, so they're always Yeah, sure. You want? Oh, sorry. Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Welcome aboard, buddy. Not bad at all. I mean, we traded away some talent, but we got a lot of talent back. I think it's still fair to call it a rebuild because the roster changed so much, but maybe, just maybe, it's not a tank. We'll see more next week. Until then. In any case, the Mississauga Steelheads return to action on Friday, January 13th with a home game against the Niagara Ice Dogs. That is the return game, by the way, of our old buddy Zachary Lavoie, so I hope all of you go out to see him. Sunday, January 15th, it is the second visit of the month by the Barrie Colts. And then Monday, January 16th, it is a holiday Monday matinee. It is Martin Luther King Day in the United States. And the Steelheads will be in Erie, Pennsylvania, taking on the Erie Otters. Unfortunately, that is not a holiday in Canada, so I do not think I will be at that one. I enjoyed my trip to Erie last month. It was very fun, but I don't think I'm going to make it this time. But I will be at the home games. Again, that is Friday at home to Niagara, Sunday at home to Barrie, and then the holiday Monday at Erie. As always, I end by asking the OHL and CHL please allow the fair use of your professional and amateur footage, help the small media, so they can help you. Until next time, you can find me behind the bench and only the bench. This is Jordan signing off. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.